Yeah, I'd like to thank my parents. But actually, this isn't about me, and this isn't a real Oscar. But it will be very much like an acceptance speech, because it's almost entirely composed of thank yous. And I would like to start by thanking Gran and Grandad Neary for being here. And without them, none of the rest of us would be here either. 12 of us wouldn't be here at all, and the rest of us would probably be somewhere else. So, Gran and Grandad, your faith and your love for each other has been the bedrock of this family. You've been together for over 61 years, and yet you still hold hands while you're watching the telly. Seeing the way that you love your grandchildren has been one of the great joys of my life, and also seeing how you extend that love and generosity to their friends and partners has been equally wonderful. I'd like to thank everyone for being here and for making the journey. Obviously, some folks travelling further than others. We have a wonderful contingent from Australia. We have a wonderful contingent from Canada. And people who've travelled just for the weekend from China, from Germany, and then we have people from Scotland, Wales, Yorkshire, and various other places. So thank you very much, folks, for coming. I've worked out that if we sort of totted up all of the miles that people have travelled to get here, and if we had a piece of rope that long, that we would literally be able to throw a lasso around the moon, which is a reference to Uncle Bill's favourite film. You probably didn't get that if you were born after the 1940s. In the New Testament, Jesus often uses the image of a wedding feast to represent the kingdom of heaven. The idea of people coming from every corner of the globe, from every language and people group, to the wedding supper of the Lamb. Well, we can't quite match that this evening, but it's not a bad effort, so thank you. And perhaps this is a little foretaste of heaven. We're so grateful to Adrian, Marisa, Alana, Kiara, and all the Aussie gang that you've made this massive journey over and that we're getting a chance to get to know you. We're immensely grateful to you for lending Aaron to us and for giving him to Rachel. And we're mindful that God may lead them wherever he chooses in the future. And they have our absolute blessing in that. But we're also excited to be part of Team Bloomer, so thank you very much for that. I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Wendy, who's given me two wonderful, beautiful daughters who've been the joy of my life. Rachel landed at an impressive 8 pounds and 10 ounces, which is quite difficult to believe given how petite she is now. Even more remarkable is that Wendy is still able to walk in a straight line. But seriously, Wendy, you have been the most amazing mum, giving the most unstinting level of support to our girls, both practically, emotionally and spiritually. And if this was a genuine Oscar, then this would definitely be for you. You are the best mum that Rachel's ever had. There is a famous saying, of course, that it takes a whole village to raise a child. But actually, we couldn't find a village that was willing to do it for us. So we had to do it ourselves. But in actual fact, our village has been Gateway Church in Acomb. And it's wonderful that so many of our York family are here today. You've provided the love and support, the community, and some amazing role models for our girls. And I want to thank our wider family as well, the Scotties and the Canadians, for being such a wonderful tribe to be part of. You've given us the best holidays and been part of some of the most wonderful celebrations, often with Gran and Grandad providing the pretext for outdoor pursuits, big family meals and caravan capers. And although we're spread out geographically, there's an incredible richness that comes from being part of this extended family. It fills me with hope that even if we're spreading further across the globe, that our opportunities to develop new connections and have new adventures will be even greater in the future. So my job is to propose a toast to the bride and groom, Rachel and Aaron, to Mr. and Mrs. Bloomer. But before I do, there are a few things that I need to say about Aaron and Rachel, both separately and together. So firstly, Aaron. Aaron is, I believe, the last of the great romantics. He wasn't content with falling in love with the girl next door. Instead, he fell in love with the girl next door to the bloke who lived furthest away from him on the planet. Instead of putting a pin on a map, Aaron could have pushed a knitting needle through the centre of the globe, starting at Brisbane and coming out somewhere near Headingley. And as you know, Rachel and Aaron met online. And 2 summers ago, Aaron made the decision to come over from Australia for a week, which showed really positive intent. He must have been worried on the plane that he's being catfished, but he was very relieved to be met by the real Rachel at York Station, although she was 2 feet shorter than she'd led him to believe. When I first met Aaron myself, I was a bit nervous and unsure about how we'd get on. He was such a known quantity. But almost as soon as Aaron arrived, I was conscious that we had something in common. We were united by a common love, food. And we both quite like Rachel as well. So, Aaron, you've made some incredibly difficult choices out of love for Rachel. You've literally traversed the globe in order to be with her. You've swapped the amazing climate of Brisbane for the damp and darkness of the British summer. And you studied so hard for your OSCE exam, even though they were clearly teaching you to suck eggs. Since coming here, you've caught every British bug and virus that your Aussie immune system was unfamiliar with. And you've been plunged into every awkward and social situation that we could arrange for you. And yet you've always come out with flying colours. We appreciate how adaptable you've been. When Aaron first moved to the UK, he was due to stay with Wendy and myself for 3 weeks. But 10 months later, he's become an integral part of the family. It's been a wonderful opportunity to get to know Aaron and to observe him at close quarters. So just a few observations. First of all, this boy can cook. He is very domesticated. He often leaves our kitchen cleaner and tidier than it would ever have been left to ourselves. He's great company. He cries at the right moments in movies and wedding ceremonies. And he loves to sing, mostly worship songs, but he won't say no to a good ABBA karaoke. Aaron's been very polite and sensitive in not talking about sport a lot or drawing attention to Australia's cricketing world dominance. Yeah, they've got a small population, but they're very noisy. He's also helped to redress the balance, the gender inequality in the Neary household, making it once again socially acceptable to eat pickles and to douse any given meal in HP sauce. One slightly surprising thing about Aaron is what he likes to do in the shower. Sorry, Liz. I remember saying to Wendy once, "Is Aaron still in the shower?" And Wendy replied, "At least he doesn't take as long as Rachel." When I went to the bathroom later, I was surprised to find an empty bottle of beer among the shampoos and conditioners. And I asked Wendy whether this was possibly the secret of Aaron's luxuriant dark hair, and wondered if it could be any help for me at all. When we finally asked Aaron about this, he explained that he likes to drink a cold beer in the shower. And I just wondered, is that an Aussie thing or is it just Aaron? It's an Aussie thing. Either way, I think it's a brilliant idea. And it combines personal hygiene with mild intoxication. Anyway, I'm pulling Aaron's leg a little bit here, but this is culturally a sign of how much we love him and how delighted we are by who he is. He's a man with some excellent qualities: empathy, compassion, patience, faith and kindness. But of course, for us, the main defining attribute of Aaron's character is how much he loves Rachel. If we ever had any doubts about how right you are for each other, they were completely dispelled when we saw you dancing together at Jacob and Lois's wedding. I love the way that Aaron and Rachel get on so well with Jess and Lucas, and sending you to a Yorkshire vineyard for your birthdays and seeing you all come back tiddly was a great source of happiness. So now to Rachel. This has been the hardest part of my speech to prepare because it's impossible to convey how much joy and delight you've brought into our lives. You don't realise it, Rachel, but just by being you, you bring light and warmth into any situation that you're placed in. However, this has not always been the case. Many of you will know that Rachel spent a short stretch in prison, where she learnt many new life skills, including how to brew alcohol in a bed frame. Fortunately, though, Rachel has been fully rehabilitated. But seriously, Rach, when I think back over the years and I open the mental file marked happy memories, there are so many special times that feature you, my darling. Doing laps of Benningborough in all seasons, a magical winter's night's walk when we saw icicles over 2 feet long, where we made snow angels and walked home via the Lucky Dragon, the Chinese takeaway. I completed the perfect evening for Rachel by falling on my backside on the way out. In fact, I often fall over in Rachel's company, and it never ceases to amuse her. I was considering whether to do a pratfall on the way down the aisle this afternoon, just to make her day, but Wendy talked me out of it. In recent years, Rach and I have had some literally peak experiences walking in the Lake District together, going over Striding Edge, followed by the best burger and chips ever in the King's Head, getting lost in the clouds on the way up to Great Gable, and then me falling over on the scree on the way down, again to Rachel's great amusement. Rachel, you are genuinely the bringer of joy. You have been, from being tiny, the giver of the best cuddles. You've brought endless delight to your gran and granddad. I love hearing you play the piano, and particularly your wonderful impersonation of Louis Armstrong, which you'll do later for you on request. I love your incredible banana bread and all the time we've spent together baking in the kitchen. And I particularly admire your ability to store all of our mugs on your bedroom windowsill and to keep them until new life forms have been generated. Rachel's first paid job was a waitress in the Earl Grey tea rooms in the Shambles at York. And to do that, she regularly had to traverse 3 flights of stairs with trays full of cakes, scones and hot liquids. One request from a customer exposed a bit of a gap in Rachel's education, for which I have to take full responsibility. The customers ordered a carafe of wine, but Rachel had never heard of a carafe before and went downstairs to ask her boss what on earth was a giraffe of wine. And we've been so tickled by this over the years that today we want to present Rachel with her very own giraffe of wine. Rachie, your love of Cornwall, your love of the lakes, your love of wild swimming, your ability to create a cosy nest, your collection of warm clothes, which is growing by the hour. Your love of autumn and Christmas and your ability to pressure us into buying a Christmas tree in mid-November. Your deep faith and your love of God, which propels you to push yourself repeatedly beyond your comfort zone. You battle with self-confidence, but it's never stopped you from taking the more difficult route. You're one of the bravest people that I know. As I get to the end of this speech, I want to say something about Aaron and Rachel together. Even though you're individually wonderful, you are not perfect, and you're certainly not complete. But Wendy and I have been amazed and delighted to see how wonderfully you complement and complete each other. Despite coming from opposite sides of the globe, you connect at so many levels. Your faith, your sense of fun, your love of nature and food, the value you place on family, and your commitment to working in some of the hardest and most challenging environments to serve people in crisis. And I just want to pray for you both, and then I promise I will sit down. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for what you've done in bringing Aaron and Rachel together. We want to thank you for the life and the joy that you've invested in them. And we want to thank you that you are totally committed to them and to the covenant that they've made together today. And we want to pray that you'll bless them, guide them, and equip them for every situation into which you lead them. For the sake of your Son, Jesus, the bridegroom. Amen. Ladies and gents, would you stand, please, and would you toast the bride and bridegroom, Mr. and Mrs. Bloomer, Rachel and Aaron. Thank you.
Well done, Simon. All right. G'day, bonjour, and patua. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Adrian, Aaron's dad. The greetings I just gave you are greetings from now and our heritage. I believe everyone knows where g'day is from. Bonjour is hello in Maltese, which is from my wife's heritage. And patua is greetings or expression of love from my great-grandmother's native language, from the Gadigal country, or what is known today as Sydney. So, firstly, Marisa and I would like to thank everyone involved in organising the wedding, because being over the other side of the globe, we can do much ourselves. So, relied on a lot of people over here to assist Aaron and Rachel. So, start with them starting their forever journey as husband and wife. Secondly, we'd like to thank Simon and Wendy for being so welcoming and accepting of Aaron into their home and family. Thirdly, we would like to thank everyone that has travelled from near and far, joining us in celebrating the wedding of Aaron and Rachel. And finally, Rachel, thank you for choosing Aaron as your soulmate. And like your parents who welcomed Aaron into your family, we welcome you into our family with wide open arms. Now that's the formalities, so let's get to the important business of tonight. Who is Aaron? A few weeks ago, Aaron asked me what embarrassing things I will be having in my speech. And I said, well, I'll leave that up to the groom's party, but I said that with a cheeky smile. You see, as all fathers will agree with me here tonight, us dads have a birthright. One, to teach them everything about how to have a relationship with God. Two, to love and protect our children. Three, make them sit through our hilarious dad jokes. And finally, to annoy and embarrass the heck out of them. So I had to take this opportunity to embarrass the heck out of him. With Aaron, I'll start from his birth. Unlike his older sister, who took forever to come into this world, I was sitting down at the hospital getting ready to watch the 6 p.m. news. Then the midwife came over to me and said, I think you better come here next to your wife. And then bang, he was out like a shooting star. Like a shooting star with a full crop of hair on his noggin like you see today. Next, food. I thought I had an appetite, but boy, could Aaron eat. I thought he was born with hollow legs, for every time we turned, he was eating. Later in life, unbeknownst to us, the kids used to catch the school bus to get to school. Well, their nunna lived across from the school, didn't she? Apparently they used to walk over to nunna's before school after getting off the bus to get a second breakfast and more snacks to have at school. And guess who was the main culprit? Aaron. When Aaron moved out of home, we reckon our grocery bill practically cut in half. Good luck with that, Rachel. At times, we really felt for Aaron with him for being the middle child. He was a rose between two thorns. He was not only a good brother to his sisters, and he was also the peacemaker and mediator. Did his sisters fought growing up? Aaron used to cop it from all angles from them too. I suppose that is where he got his resilience from. Word of warning, Aaron does not like being left behind. He was about 8 when we were living in Ballarat, and I was driving the kids to school on the way to work, as you do. This day, Aaron was very happy for it was his turn to sit in the front seat. And the rule is, if you're in the front seat, you open the gate. So Aaron got out, opened the gate, and I drove through. About 10 minutes later, I looked at the front seat and turned to the girls and said, "Where's Aaron?" They replied, "I don't know." Oops, I left him behind. Did a U-turn and apparently he ran to Mum crying, "Dad left without me." To this day, he never let me forget. I can be here all night, but I need to get more serious now. Aaron will always be a part of us, no matter what age we may be. Our son has made us laugh, made us proud, made us cry, seen us cry, hugged us tight, cheered us up, kept us on our toes and driven us crazy at times. He'll always be in our hearts, but now, son, we need to let you go. So you can join with Rachel as husband and wife. Like it is written, you leave your mother and father to join as one with your wife. The last 2 bits of advice we give you is about how marriage requires 3 to make it strong. That is you, Aaron, you, Rachel, and God. The first bit of advice is from my favourite poem, The Footprints. Basically, the moral of the poem is during the tough times you only see one set of footprints in the sand. God has not forsaken you both or left you to fend for yourselves in your time of need. For that one set of footprints is God carrying you through those tough times. The second bit of advice is the story your mother had shared with me, and which is stuck in my heart. A 3-stranded rope is stronger than a rope with 2, 4 or 5 strands. Why? Because with 3 strands, each part is constantly touching the other 2, forming the strongest and tightest bond possible. In covenant marriage, God is that critical 3rd strand. And by weaving a husband and wife into a tight relationship with him, the 3 strands always touch each other, making the bond as strong as it can possibly be. As is written by King Solomon, who said, "A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken," in Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. Make sure God is part of your relationship always and is included in every decision you make. We love you both and look forward to seeing you both growing stronger together. May everyone just raise your glasses to Aaron and Rachel, please. Aaron and Rachel. Thank you.